right. So, hi everyone, and welcome to the Fall 2024 Planning Session Workshop. Many of you probably saw on socials during this week or just via email on my newsletter where I shared that I am back again for another planning session. I've done about two so far this year, and each time I got really great feedback from my network and my community. And so I'm back at it again, especially considering that we're in the month of September 2024. It's fall season officially, it's back to school season. There's so much happening. And I feel like this is a really unique time in the year because unlike the beginning of the year, the mid-year point, people kind of wake up and realize that, wow, I got 4 more months or 120 days left to make the year relevant, right? To make something happen this year. And so I'm going to share with you over the next 45 minutes, not only how I plan for the fall, how I plan for months to come, but also I'm going to share with you my perspective on what I'm seeing in the market and how my family and I are trying to stay on top and doing the work of just really being progressive with our goals and our aspirations for the year. So welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Christina Tim, and let's move forward with this conversation. So obviously, some of you had some goals at the beginning of the year, and I just want to say with you that, it's not too late to get back on track if you have not accomplished the goals you set forth for the year. So today, like I said, I'm going to share with you about 7 different things you could do to capitalize on the economic situation of today, but also how to prepare and create scenarios to make sure that you are winning this season. Okay. So as shared before, my name is Christina Tim. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I'm a tech ecosystem leader and a personal brand influencer. I talk a lot about personal branding, digital business and entrepreneurship, especially because of my experience and tenure in the market. I've been in the tech space for over, close to 15 years now, and I have launched and managed several revenue generating companies. And for the work that I've done, I've been very fortunate that I've been featured and I received so many accolades in many different outlets around the world. So people really do take heed to the messages that I share and the advice that I give, not because, you look like someone who's been successful, but people have always also witnessed my journey, my highs and my lows, and people have said that I'm very honest, bold, and just really just direct about what it looks like on the other side of the media, the partnerships, the glam, the celebrities, the government official life. I mean, everything you're able to see the background. This is another session, right, of that where I'm sharing with you behind the scenes how we plan and how we prepare for the year. So that's a little bit about me, but we hear about you to share with you how to plan for the next session. Okay, so during today's session, I'm going to obviously make introductions to some of the shifts that I'm seeing in the market and why it's important for you to take notice. 7 different opportunities, ways you can shift your thinking to really capitalize on what's happening. And at least if you want to work with me further to help you with your goals and help you with your aspirations. Okay, so let's dive in. So this is me on a regular basis. For many of you, have seen my career over the past couple of years as a serial entrepreneur who's building multiple businesses. I have the fortunate opportunity to speak at global stages around the world. So I am traveling a lot, but keep in mind, I'm also a mother and a wife. I have 4 beautiful kids with my husband. And so I am also balancing family life alongside with my career. And so people have taken notice to the fact that I don't post every single day on social media. I don't do the most. I don't do every single strategy on the internet. I have really cultivated a method over the years to do what actually works for me and take on new challenges and opportunities where I see fit, right? So that way I'm growing, prospering. And even if I take setbacks with trying new things, learning the hard lessons the hard way or the easy way, whatever works, to make sure that I'm still moving forward. So that's a little bit about me and how I get to this point. And I remember during the last session in July when I had pretty much a mid-year session, I talked about, some of the trends that's really affecting not just economic growth, but like how people plan right now, right? So I shared with you guys about the economic downturn, AI fatigue, like how people are tired of all the bots and fake, personalities on the internet, about the need for real transitional leadership. We're in a year where the most amount of elections are taking place globally in 1 year. About 60 plus countries are hosting major presidential elections this year. And what that means for people who are in state of limbo because of that transitional leadership atmosphere. I talked about, how useless people have become. And it's not on purpose because, people are overwhelmed, people are just overstimulated. So the ecosystem, especially in the tech sector, has really fallen apart over the past couple of years. Corporates are not supporting the ecosystem the way they used to. VC funds are not funding the way they used to. Startup events are not picking up speed the way they're used to. And partly it's because it's not enough capital and resources to go around because of the economic climate. But the reality is that the ecosystem, and this is not just in the tech sector, you'll find that across multiple different industries, that ecosystem support is really at an all-time low. And a lot of people feel like they're very isolated in like their own islands because of it. And then I also shared about, the new currency of today's world is really content, right? How you show up online, how you engage with people, not just on social media, but just through your emails, your WhatsApp, any form of digital content or conversation is really the new currency because people are looking for leaders and influencers to align with, to work with, and to learn from. So that is a new currency. I talked a little bit about the rise and the accelerated pace of the knowledge economy and where you should place yourself. And then I ultimately talked about the probably the most important and most crucial investment you can make right now in today's digital first economy and the world that we live in today is to really, really cultivate your personal brand and build your reputation on purpose and not on accident, right? And what that looks like and leveraging your expertise to either fuel opportunities in your career or fuel profitable gains. Whatever it takes to really cultivate that personal brand, you need to prioritize. Opted into once social media went live in the early 2000s. Okay. So that was the last session. And I shared with you guys some solutions to deal with these challenges that's happening in the marketplace. Like, for example, the AI fatigue that people are experiencing, how to just be very authentic and really leverage AI as a tool, but not as a replacement of thought leadership. I talked about, how if everyone's fearing the leadership transitions that's happening around the world, share with people your strategy, share with people your know-how so people could see you as someone that they could turn to for advice and perspective. I talked about, where there's ecosystem setbacks, where there's a reduction of support. How are you building the ecosystem in your own way, in your own silo, and making it more accessible to other communities? I mean, there's power in grassroots organizing and influence. I talked about, how you could turn content currency into an income generator and how you could look at the knowledge economy as an opportunity. And of course, really not fighting the social contract that we all opted into with social media, because I know everyone's fatigued with the digital internet that we live in today, but how to leverage it to build a legacy that matters to you and to the people you want to serve. So those are some of the solutions I shared during the last session. So today, as we look into Q3, as we look into you planning out your fall sessions, your activities, your goals, your routines, your habits, projects, I want to talk about where I see things are headed today and how I'm planning for the fall and some exciting new announcements I have on my end and how I'm making them happen. Okay. And so the first thing I want to share with is some of the trends that I'm still seeing. And I think I want to validate this concern because a lot of people feel like they're being gaslighted right now on the internet because everyone's operating as business as usual. But it's not business as usual because we are in I would call it a standstill economy where everyone's just waiting and waiting and waiting. They don't even know what they're waiting for, but they're just waiting. So even those, obviously, inflation has affected people's purchasing power. So a lot of people are not monetizing, don't have capital to dispense. However, at the same time, even those who have capital are not spending right now. Everyone's hoarding and waiting. You could say that people are waiting for the elections. People are waiting to see what's going to happen at the end of the quarter. People are waiting to see what people are going to do in December. I mean, everyone has insert blank what they're waiting for right now because it does feel like we're on the tipping point of a major transition, but we don't know what it is. So we're waiting and buying our time. And obviously that affects how people are able to close contracts, close deals, start businesses, reshape businesses, start new jobs, leave a job. I mean, a lot of decisions right now are at a standstill. And the best thing I could tell you, I'll share with you some solutions after, but the best I could tell you as of right now is that you're not the only one who is noticing that everything is at a standstill right now. Okay. This is worse than COVID because at least with COVID, there was a reason why everyone was kind of doing the things the way that they were doing it virtually. But right now, there are multiple reasons why people are playing the waiting game right now. And obviously, it stems from the economy and elections that's happened this year. But there's so many microaggressions and micro triggers that's occurring right now on a daily basis that's causing people to just wait and be still a little bit. The second thing I will say, and this feeds into what I just said before, I did share that people are being gaslighted right now because there's too many conflicting narratives on what the economic future holds for all of us right now. We don't know what is the real narrative. On one hand, governments is given one narrative, and on the other hand, corporates is given another one, and individuals are given another one. And everyone's bullshitting on the internet. At least 95% of the people on the internet, people are faking the glam, faking the lifestyle. No one's really being honest and sincere about what narratives that there a lot more uncertainty for people economically speaking because what is it? And again, I'll share with you solutions how to deal with this and how our family and how our businesses are managing this reality. But it does feel like it's a lot of conflicting dialogue right now. As a result, people don't know what their next move needs to be. And you need to always be planning out not just your next move, but your next 5 moves. It's so important that you're looking where the puck is going for you individually on a micro and a macro level, right? And then look, I feel like everyone's doing all the things right now, okay? Everyone's multitasking, okay? Everyone is doing a lot. Everyone's doing multiple jobs, multiple projects, multiple just multiple things, okay? And it is very, very problematic because people are stressed, overworked, overcompromised. People are just overwhelmed. And people are doing all the things and it's not pushing the needle where it needs to go. Okay. So this is the reason why you're seeing a lot of frustrations right now, both online and offline. And I'm sure many of you feel like you're doing a lot more, but receiving a lot less on the feedback loop. Or because, and another thing too is like people are not getting the feedback loops that they used to get when they do something. So for example, let's say you used to post something on social media, you got something, reactions, likes, this and that, but now people are just like crickets because we're all so overstimulated that we're just not engaging the way we used to. We still see it. And I always tell people still push forward. Even for me, like I no longer care about my view count anymore because people always end up DM me, emailing me, messaging me and say, hey, Christine, I saw your video. I'm like, I didn't see you live, right? But they saw it. They heard it. They read it. They watched it. And I'm very, very, very shocked to see that people's level of engagement has completely shifted because for their mental sanity, they have to do things completely differently right now, right? So the multitasking and the multi-working is at an all-time high, okay? That is very true. And then because of the economic climate and because of all the shifting things that are happening right now, I'm seeing a lot of people, especially people who are in the diaspora. And I'm a diasporan because I'm Haitian American and Ghanaian. And so I operate within the world of the Caribbean community, the African community, and the African American community, right? Even though we're all Black, we're all diasporans, there's still ways of coexisting that's very different. A lot of it is the same, but a lot of it's also different. And I'm seeing a lot of my diaspora friends, my network, literally relocate back to their home turf just to kind of reground themselves and there's huge power in being humble enough to do that because one thing that I'm seeing right now is that people are finding it very hard to say, let me go back to ground zero and kick off from there. And I always tell people, I always use the analogy of an arrow. For an arrow to shoot forward, it got to take a step back, right? You got to pull the arrow back for it to shoot forward as far as possible. And the farther back you push it, the farther out it will go, right? And so I tell people not to simply inspire them, but to remind them that every once in a while in your life, in your career, in your journey of being who you need to be, you will have setback moments where you have to pull back and go back to the drawing board so you could come back better than how you were before you started. And it requires immense amount of humility and immense amount of courage to do that, because again, we live in a digital world where everyone's being a persona on the internet and unable to take those humble steps to start over from scratch if needed to get to a better place. And so that is a huge one that I'm seeing happening right now. Okay. And then finally, information overload. I already said this before, but I'm going to reiterate that people have become desensitized. Like nowadays, when people hear on the internet or news where someone got killed or hacked or just crazy news, doesn't shock people anymore. That's problematic, by the way. And we could have another video for later as to why that's extremely problematic. But we have now become desensitized, okay? We are now in an age of information overload. So for you to be relevant and to add value in people's lives today, the only thing you can provide is consistency. The content no longer matters. Consistency is what's going to create engagement and following and community for your audience if you're able to provide that, because people cannot show up for you if they don't know that you are not showing up for them on a consistent basis. It's just how it is right now, right? So with that said, as I look at how people are transitioning into capitalizing and planning for what's next, here's some of the solutions and some of the strategies that I want to share with you that I am applying right now in my everyday life, even in the face of adversity, craziness, madness, with all the things I just shared. Here's what we're doing on our end. First things first, if you're feeling overwhelmed, where you feel like the economy is at a standstill and you feel like too many things are happening, you don't know what to do next, you still need to move forward with your plans. Because I've shared this before, indecision is still a decision, okay? You waiting for something to happen, you waiting to see if XYZ happens or the perfect opportunity, it will never come. Even doing decisive decisions in a poor climate is a powerful move forward. You know why? Because you're able either to capitalize on the lesson or learn from the lesson so you could take it to the next step. Do not stay at a standstill. Still move forward with your plans. What I will tell you that we do is that we create multiple scenarios. My husband and I, my business team and I, we actually create multiple scenarios. And I see a lot of people don't do that. They only plan the next steps. We create best case, mid case, and worst case scenarios every single time. Even if we hate the outlook of the worst case scenario, just going through the exercise of writing it out and going through it, it doesn't feel like a shock if we see ourselves caught in a worst scenario situation, because we already planned for it. And we're planning a way to be able to come out of that worst scenario. We all aim for the best. We manage for the current, and we aim to overcome the worst situation, right? So doing multiple scenarios is so important right now. You got to do it because you just don't know what's next. Another thing is, look, I'm not saying that I know all the secrets on productivity, but I am really good at productivity. Even my husband, he will tell you, the things I'm able to do as a mother of 4 kids with multiple businesses, a farm, traveling with speaking engagements, and still have time to chill, relax, play with my kids, have a good time, teach them from home. Literally, I'm still able to do the things that matter to me because of discipline. And a lot of my discipline comes from not running away from the real work. A lot of you are doing 20 things, but the one thing that will really matter, you know what it is, you're not doing. So if it means that you need to get on calls to start making those sales, you're going to do posts on social media. You're going to do a design on your website. You're going to do another, Canva flyer design for a promotion, as opposed to try and get on 5 sales calls. Do you see the difference? You're going to do all these other things that look nice, feel like you're doing work on your business, or feel like doing work on whatever project you're doing. But the one thing that's going to help you move forward, you're not doing. Get on the sales calls if you got to get on the sales calls. You might hate the experience, but you got to stop running away from the real work, okay? We are in an age right now that if you keep running away from the real work, you're going to burn out and not have the energy or the capacity to do the work that you need to get to the next step. Stop running away from the real work. And that's what I started doing. I started doing less and telling people more no so I could do the real work that I hate doing, right? So that way I could get more of doing what I love doing, because I create a system for doing the real work to the point that I know all the steps that I've done to replicate, to give it to someone else, to do that hard work for me so I can live the life I want to live. Go back and do the real work. It's very, very important. The second thing I will say is, don't be afraid of starting over from scratch. And I'm going to share this as a side note, because right now, I'll give you a comment someone gave me that really resonated with me and gave me really insight into how bad things have gotten right now on the internet and the world that we live in right now. So I did a post on my social media that I'm running a 5-day personal brand challenge. And I had tons of fun doing that 5-day launch, sharing with people insights on how to build their personal brands. And someone actually DM'd me. It's like, Christine, like, with your personal brand, you speak at so many different engagements, you do so many different big client, partnerships and booking. Why are you doing these like small webinars and these small, the girl really came from my life. Okay. Like, she really just kind of questioned some of the activities I was doing recently. And I thought to myself, I was like, wow, like, I wasn't triggered. I wasn't angry. I didn't feel defensive about it. I just said, like, look, like, I'm doing what I believe is going to get me to the new person I want to become. And I share with her, like, look, like, I'm glad to get your feedback. I'm sure there's a lot of people in your camp that feels like, why is Christine doing these things? It seems like with her brand, it seems a little bit beneath her. And I recognize that, there's a lot of you that's not doing certain things because of these type of messages, these type of opinions, these type of comments. I recognize it's preventing people from doing the things that they need to do to become the person they want to be, or to create the lifestyle they want to have. And I recognize that when I heard that, I actually prayed, and it was a gratitude prayer, because I was just like, God, thank you for giving me the humility and the resilience to not give a fuck. Let me say that again. I am cursing on this thing. Not give a fuck. I'm saying that blatantly about people's opinions when it comes to my growth. Oh my God. I thank the Lord that to give your way is so rare, because what I recognize in that message is that we now live so much on the internet. We so much have digital online profiles that we're scared to do even the most menial of things to learn, to grow, to prosper properly. It's madness. And I can't tell you how many people that I talk to, like, Christine, like, I saw that you grew your email, where I shared that, within doing like live webinars. I started doing these. She's like, really? I thought you could just do an announcement and that's it. I'm like, no, I did these things, and this is what helped me got to this point. So I will say this economy right now is very brutal. And I'm in a season of experimentation and transition where I want to do all the experiments while I don't need the outcome of those experiments. Let me run that back to you again. I'm running all the experiments that I need to run right now because I don't need the outcome of those experiments right now. Does that make sense? Because if you start to try these things that require humility and that require you taking a couple steps back and going back to the basics, during a time where you are desperate for capital, desperate for partnership, desperate for a job, desperate for a business to launch, desperate for a contract, desperate for case in fill in the blank, you're not going to experiment and grow and test things out properly for yourself, right? So having the humility to go back to the basics, go back to the fundamentals is so crucial right now. Go back, do from scratch, be humble, reverse engineer the people who are already ahead of you, right? I am still watching videos from 10 years back, 5 years back. I am literally in that season of experimentation. So I challenge you to do the same. I know everyone will tell you, don't listen to people on the internet, keep doing your race. I know it's hard. Flex that muscle to keep running the experiments. Keep moving forward. Perspective. Get in the way of your growth and success. You'll be pained tenfold to allow someone to say something that prevented you from trying the thing that you needed to try to get from point A to Z. Don't do it. Okay? Move forward and do the things that you're afraid to do right now while you still can. Very important. Okay. I'm seeing a lot. Then meet with the world. I have a black book. I don't have it with me right now, but I'm still very old school. I write out my schedule, my agenda, my aspirations. And then of course, I use my spreadsheets and my Word documents and go to work on my dashboards. But I still have an internal meeting with myself on a regular basis, like what I'm wanting to do, and really talk out and map out what I want to do. And a lot of people are not mapping out scenarios as to what they want to accomplish. And so what that looks like is like this. These are my plans for 2024 that I set forth from January of this year, and what I will continue doing and what I will stop doing. So at the beginning of the year, I shared with my social media, with my newsletter community, and all the communities that I've ascribed to, that I'm going to show up in multiple different formats this year as a personal brand, as an influencer, to impart wisdom, to grow my audience, but also to really build on value so I can monetize properly in a way that I want to build a legacy. And I say I will show up daily through social media, right? I will show up weekly through my webinars, right? By doing weekly webinar sessions like this one that I'm doing right now, teaching something that I am doing or learning from. I will show up monthly with challenges. And what I mean by that, where I'm teaching something over the course of multiple days, to teach people how to do something from start to finish. And I will coach people intimately, deeply through quarterly programs. I have about 3 signature programs a year that I do live. I'm not into that space of just selling digital courses and letting people just go through a program and leave them. I do them live 3 times a year. Okay. 3 separate programs. Okay. So where I'm at right now, when I review that, I realize that the daily posting is not my thing. I like living my life. I don't like, even though I am very productive and I could do the batching, I'm doing automation, doing all the things. I already have a PA team. I have 2 people that work for me. Full like the visibility every single day. I just don't like it. I'm not going to try anymore. I will show up the way I want to show up. So if that means I'm going to post 2 times a week on social, on my pages, that's what you're going to get. Okay. Obviously, those 2 posts will be very honest, very direct, very sincere. Maybe it's an announcement, maybe it's something I'm doing, maybe it's a quote, maybe it's some bullshit. I don't know, but it's going to be me. That's how I'm going to show up. That's the first thing. My weekly webinars, I love them, but I'm tweaking them. So I will continue doing webinars because I love teaching. I love sharing insights and information to my community. However, I figured out a sweet spot that before, every single week I would come with these PowerPoint presentations, decks, designs, do all the things. And it was a lot of work, right? And I recognize that also the person receiving it, it feels like a lot of work too. What I started doing last month, I'm going to continue to do, and you're going to see this pattern on my socials. I'm not going to show up for webinars for 1 hour anymore. I'm not even going to show up for 45 minutes anymore. I'm going to show up on weekly webinars for between 15 minutes to 30 minutes with a Google Doc, sometimes without a Google Doc, and that's it. And for those who want access to the Google Doc to download and edit and use for their own, perusal, they can sign up for my newsletter and get it and get access to it and move forward. Because where I realized the top 2 requests I get every single time is, Christine, can get access to your notes. I never really share my decks, at least with the Google Docs, I could do that. And second, I always get people say, like, Christine, I saw that you did a live. I wanted to watch it, but I didn't have an hour or 45 minutes. But do you have 15 minutes? Yes. Do you have 30 minutes? Yes. So it's funny. everybody wins. I win because I don't have to do the most to get prepared for the webinar, right? It's my insights. My knowledge. They see more of me more consistently on these weekly Wednesday webinars, but it's going to be in a different format. So give me a comment. Let me know how that feels. And I do think that that's going to be the way of the future. I think we're tired of the nice bells and whistles. I think people want to see people in their most organic form. So okay, I know I went in and out with the tech just now. The next thing I want to share that I'm going to do is I'm going to continue doing my monthly challenges, which is, and maybe not every 4 weeks, but maybe every 4 to 6 weeks, where I come on live for 3 days or 5 days or 7 days to teach you guys something from start to finish that I know will be of value. So whether it's teaching you how to get booked for public speaking engagements and kick off your public speaking career, or teach you how to build and monetize your personal brand, or teach you how to build a digital business, like share with you all the things that you need over the course of multiple days, not just specifically to show you how I teach so you could build a relationship with me and probably want to work further with me personally through any of my paid programs, but because I recognize that I get huge joy from doing them, one. And second, I'm able to see exactly what you guys need and show up with that information, show up with that content, show up with that value. So that way, you know that if you're dependent on me for insight, I got you. Okay. So I'm going to continue them. I love them. It's my secret sauce at this point. I love it. It's been fun. I love going on video live to teach things. So it works out well. And quarterly, I will continue to host my programs. And I already said this, I have 3 signature programs that I'll share with you guys in a minute, but I will continue to do them. People have complained and say, hey, you closed out registration for the program. I still want to sign up. Can I get access to the course? I'm like, no, you missed the window. Come back in 2025. I'm very, very strict about that, right? When I close the door for a program, I close the door for a program because I am immersing myself in it. And I want to make sure that you are also immersing yourself in it. So I will continue to do my quarterly programs and continue to do them live. All right. 2 things I am launching this fall that you'll hear more about is that I am re-optimizing and officially launching my YouTube channel. So I'll share with you how you can sign up to be a part of my YouTube channel to get live videos almost once or twice a week through my YouTube channel. And second, I am also launching a podcast. So more information to come about that. You're going to love it. If you love the content I'm already bringing on social, this one is going to take a different turn, but in a way that I know is going to really shock a lot of you. I'm too pumped about this. So I'll tell you more information probably in the next session, but I'm launching 2 major things. If you know, I'm launching these 2 things because I'm recognizing that, first off, video and audio is not king. People don't like reading things anymore. People don't like really learning a lot from time because of energy. People are really listening and tuning into podcasts. So I'm going to join the ecosystem of being able to impart my wisdom and my knowledge through podcasting as well. And there are things that I'm postponing to 2025. So for example, I am doing a multi-city tour next year in 2025. Many of you know that the last time I did a multi-city tour was in 2019 and a mini one in 2022. But since that time, I've had 2 boys in the past 2 years. So I actually did not do any multi-city tours because I was dealing with newborns and maternity leave and all the things. But next year, I'm going back to do my multi-city tour. So I'll be coming to a city near you. And many of you know that when I do these multi-city tours, I'm doing workshops, boot camps, and they sell out very, very quickly. I usually have 100 to 300 people in cities like New York, London, Dubai. So stay tuned. I am going to be doing a multi-city tour in 2025. I'll hear more about that to share with you later on in the next couple of weeks. So these are how I look at my plans. I look at, okay, what's been working? What do I love? what do the people that are following you love, and what's the sweet spot in the middle, and I move forward that way, right? So that's the revision process. I do preempt and tell people what I'm about to launch, right? So that way, if they're interested, they want to DM me, you can email my team at hello@christinatim.com. You can say if you want to, partner, engage, whatever it is, you could just DM my team and get more information. And I'm honest by saying that I'm also postponing things, right? I think a lot of people feel like they're a failure if they don't do the things that they said that they were going to do. I'm honest enough to say that, I was planning on doing the multi-city tour this fall. And I recognize, like, nope, I need more time to deconstruct. I need more time to plan this properly. I'm postponing it to 2025, right? So these are things that, I share that's part of the parking lot, and just make sure that I'm open and honest. So that way, you know that I'm a human being. And I do have things that I practice, I stay on schedule with entirely. So for example, I daily post on social media to avoid burnout. And then things that I'm launching and postponing. It's a multi-faceted process to really go through the motions of planning properly. So what are you reviewing right now? Tell me on the chat. Right? What have you been doing that's working that you want to continue to do? What have you been doing that's not working that you're just like, look, I need to scrap this and get to other things, right? What do you want to launch in the next 120 days that you think that would be grateful and useful to you and your community? And what do you realize like you need more time to flesh out, and it may not be resources or money, it might just be mental bandwidth, it might be social bandwidth, but what are you postponing to next year so that way you can plan for it properly? So those 4 things, let me know where you are in the comments on that, okay? And with that said, when I think about the things that I've done over the years, over this year, I shared with you that I did 3 live challenges that was, oh my God, so fun. And let me know in the comments if you've been a part of any of these programs that I did this year, whether it was the paid speaker career launch 5-day challenge, whether it's a personal brand live launch program, training series. If you've been a part of any of these, let me know, because through these programs, I've also not only been able to really give huge value to my community on social media and through my newsletter list, but I was able to also find my ideal people that I want to work with on an intimate way. And so the 3 programs that I did this year, just to share with you the things I review and look at, see where it's going. I piloted for the first time a Speaker Career Launch Accelerator program where I selected a group of people who worked with me for over 8 weeks to help them build out, their speaker materials, teach them how to get booked for engagements in a climate that's engagements, know how to actually cultivate, audience and a profile to get booked and make it either a full-time career or a consistent income stream, right? So if you want access to next year's edition of the Speaker Career Launch Accelerator program, comment speaker in the comments, and our team will DM you and send you information of how to get ready for 2025. So that was one program I did this year that I piloted that I loved, and I'm definitely doing it again next year. The second thing that I'm doing this year that I haven't launched yet, but I got too many requests for this, is that first program was a group coaching program. I'm going to be launching this fall a one-on-one coaching program with a smaller group of people to help them learn how to get booked, where I work with them one-on-one over the course of 8 weeks as well, where every week I would come on live with them for about 45 minutes to an hour, and I'm just coaching them. Just them, me and them by ourselves on virtual calls. We're either doing the emails together, we're making calls together, we're finding events to get booked together, like literally working one-on-one. And that goes live in October. If you're interested of having one-on-one coaching with me, just DM in the comments coaching, and our team will follow up with you to let you know all the details as to how to capitalize on that opportunity. And keep in mind this one-on-one coaching program. So if you're not available, then you could wait for next year, 2025. But if you're ready to get booked this year and you want help with coaching one-on-one, child, you could just comment coaching on the chat feed, on the comments, and our team will get back to you to let you know how you can sign up and be a part of the opportunity. Okay, so that's the second program I'm running this year. Last but not least, private up, you could comment personal brand is my personal brand management accelerator program. And the reason why I'm doing this program is because everyone has told me time and time again that in addition to loving my speaker career, people have truly admired how I built an international personal brand that I've made profitable. And a lot of people talk about personal branding, but don't talk about personal brand management. Make you build a website, how to build a community. All of that happens in my personal brand management accelerator program, and it's the one program that I have access to for life, because every single year I update this program on an annual basis to make sure that you are on top of managing, scaling, and monetizing your personal brand. If you want more information on that program, just comment personal brand in the comments. But with that, these are the 3 programs that I did this year, especially around helping people launching and building their personal brands. And I will tell you guys that this year, when I think about my planning, a lot of the opportunities that have come my way has come through LinkedIn. And so I'm a big proponent of using one social media platform, not to do all the things, but to stay engaged with, to find really great opportunities. So I either outreach people on LinkedIn through DMs, or they reach out to me, and it continues to be my number one source of opportunity is through my LinkedIn. And so I still incorporate that in my planning strategy, where I share with people all the different facets of my journey of building my personal brand internationally, so I could continue to stay top of mind within my corporate network, my institutional network, and individuals that I've worked with over the years. So with that said, let's end on a high note, and let me share with you the 7 strategies that you need to really do to really accomplish big for 2024. And this is what I'm doing, and this is what changed the game for me entirely when I was planning for 2024. So I already shared with you a slide of what I'm doing this year, where I'm continuing, what I'm launching, and what I'm postponing. So now let me share with you the strategies that I implemented to get to that conclusion point that I shared with you a couple slides ago. First is from do not sugarcoat this. You need to reduce your tech stack and subscriptions ASAP. You're paying money for things that you're not using. And a lot of the things that you're using, it's not even a money issue at this point. It's a mental. And so people that I went from about 17 to 18 different softwares to about 4 different software, from about 17. That is a huge. I learned software things and make it if anything to keep updating with those software, because each one of them has different subscription dates, and it was just a lot. So now the 4 tech stack that I focus on is obviously my CRM is very important to manage contacts and leads through my newsletters, DMs, and all that. The second thing is a way to go live virtual, so either Zoom or StreamYard, so that way you could go, live to be able to impart wisdom, to share, to engage with your audience along multiple different facets. The third one is an outreach software. It's for outbound marketing, not inbound. So CRM is for inbound, for you to receive people sign up for your newsletter and grow your list. Outbound is for you to reach out to clients. This is what I use for my speaker bookings, where we reach out to corporate executives to see if I could get booked for speaking engagements at their institutions. So that's outbound software, okay? And the last thing, the 4th thing that I use is a booking automation system. So that way my team is getting on calls to be able to book clients for sales. And that's platforms like Calendly. Those are the 4 software tech that I'm using. Highly suggest that you focus on doing the same thing as well. All right. The second thing that I'll say is you really, really need to reduce for me. I had a massive team, the number of team members I have. Luckily for my staff that's been with me for over 3, 4, 5 years, I have multiple businesses. So if a business right now is, I'm not making the same amount of income, I've been able to relocate them to a different part of my business, either relocate them to even my personal brand business side, right? So I've been able to really restructure my staff. Even my home staff, by the way. So we have drivers and nannies as well. So if we feel like, yo, look, our kids are getting older, we don't need as many drivers, we don't need as many nannies. We've even rotated people like, hey, you're going to be in charge of like managing and cleaning this house that we're Airbnb out now. So we've increased the number of rentals and work that we're doing across multiple properties that we have. So it's things like that. It's like, think about the resources that you have, the people that you have. And if you're realizing that, the cost of living, inflation, the economy is getting crazy, instead of just laying people off, you can restructure them. You can relocate them. You can, reprogram their work so they become more valuable for you, either personally or professionally in the business space, right? So I've done a lot of that. So for you, look at your ecosystem and look at how you can restructure how you do this. So if you have a virtual assistant, a part-time assistant, a biz dev team, especially for my entrepreneurs, if you have one or two team members, you're feeling overwhelmed, you might need to reduce even the workload of your business. So for us, we're doing an entire rebrand for one of our businesses this fall, and we're reducing the amount of events just so we could optimize and keep moving during this time frame. So restructuring your team is very important. The third thing that we're doing, and this is for me personally, I've decluttered my space. Like honestly, like I used to have so many files, so many things. Like, so I've now dedicated a room for all the busy stuff. My space where I sleep, where I eat, where I work, I decluttered like crazy. And my husband, I made him do it too. Right. And I can't tell you how freeing that has made me to be able to declutter my spaces. And you might think it's a simple thing, but even as far as like making sure your desk doesn't even have anything, not even like I probably have one photo on my desk and that is it. Because I am not playing games in 2024. I need my mind to be clear and free and ready to go ham and crazy. So I have decluttered any space where I work, sleep, and eat. It has been mesmerizing because your mind goes in so many creative directions. So declutter your spaces. You could keep all your crazy things in a space where when you walk into that room, that's where you'll find everything. But the spaces where you work, eat, and sleep, please declutter. The fourth thing that I'm doing that has been really helpful, speaking of decluttering, is actually filing and printing things to give it more tangible value. So like a random bug. Okay. My bad. I no longer trust the internet anymore. So I'm going back to old school where I'm printing things, printing data sets, printing, work that I'm doing. So that way I can file it and find it. For those of you who are entrepreneurs, you're supposed to be creating real filing ecosystems for our family life and our personal life. And it has been truly tremendous to do that. And so I will challenge you guys to really get into that because it not only adds tangible value, it gives you a sense of security to know that you're saving things on hard drives and in the printed form. So that way, God forbid, if anything happens, you're good to go. Okay. Fifth thing is, look, this one might be controversial, but I'm saying no more to on-demand meetings. I'm no longer meeting with people as often as I used to. Family obviously is different. Like if you're my mom, my dad, my brother, my children, my husband, it's different. You get access to me 24/7. But as far as anyone outside of that, no, like we gotta fall into the window structure that we need to meet. And that's it. And I've had people say, like, well, if you can't meet at this time, then maybe we can't meet. I'm like, maybe we can't. Because my mental sanity of focusing, remember I told you I'm focusing on the things that really matter and pushing the needle. I need time to do that. And I'm in the season for that. A lot of you guys get into the season of hustling anymore. I believe in focus. And a lot of people are distraction need to really manifest what you need to get done. So I no longer do on-demand meetings. To me, this is the way to do it. If not, sorry. And with that said, when I do have meetings with my husband, with my partners, with my, business team members, we talk about, everything, personal plans, family plans, travel plans. This is the order that we have internally within our house. And beyond, where there's so many different ways to do anything right now. And a lot of people are feeling overwhelmed. I will tell you, create an R&D department for you, for your personal brand. I've been doing this for the past 10 years, and this is the reason why you see me so, like, it seems like I'm easily getting opportunities, but it's not that. It's because I have an R&D department for my own personal brand. I'm researching deal opportunities, booking opportunities, new travel opportunities to be doing. Like, I have an R&D department for myself, me, myself, and I, right? A lot of you are not doing the work to research opportunities and putting yourself out there. So I dedicate time, me and my team, to research opportunities and execute on finding those opportunities. So R&D is going to be literally the secret weapon for many of you to get ahead on your plan. Because when you go research the opportunities that are out there, you can plan and leverage the resources that are available to you to do that. Okay. So with that said, that is all I have for you. I want to make sure I'm on time. We've got 5 minutes left. I can answer any questions that you have your fall season when you're planning out what to do next, your next moves. 3 things I want you to take away from today's conversation. 1, always review and see what have you been doing, what did you like, and what is your community or what I liked and what responses are they giving, right? You have to review what's been working, right? Because some of you are doing 10 things and you're doing it because now it's become a routine, but 2 of them is working, you double down on it. It might require you to commit more time to it. So the revision is very important. I share with you the 4 things that I reviewed, what I'm doing and what I'm removing, what I'm postponing and what I'm launching. Okay. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, this is really huge, but really, really capitalizing on being humble to start over from scratch and reverse engineering who's succeeding right now and replicating what is working for you. And finding your secret sauce by iterating and experimenting. Put yourself in a season of focus and experimentation. These next 4 months, there's a lot of experiments that become very, very profitable. So get into the season of experimentation and focus right now, because not only may you have a huge breakthrough in 2024, you might be setting yourself for a major milestone disruption of opportunity in 2025 and beyond. So get into that season of focus and experimentation right now. It will help you profusely. And last but not least, create an R&D department. Research opportunities, because you don't know what you don't know. Look at all the stakeholders in the ecosystem who are doing what you want to do. Reverse engineer the success. What are they doing? How are they going live? What email list? Sign up for their newsletter. If you have to create a separate email to sign up for all the things that they're doing so you can see exactly what they're doing, sign up for what I'm doing. See what I'm doing. Reverse engineering my processes. Go through all my social media. Use me as a case study. I don't care, right? The point is, whether it's me or someone else, reverse engineer people who are successful or who you deem is where you want to be, and experiment and execute and create the R&D that you need to be able to capitalize on that information and move forward. With that said, I wish you the very best for the next 120 days that we have left for 2024. Maybe it might be a powerful one for you. Maybe it'll be a crazy turning point for you. But ultimately, my hope is that you either find your blessing or you find your lesson, right? Either way, you're going to grow, you're going to prosper, you're going to accelerate to new heights. I wish you the very best. Congrats on being with me for this session. I look forward to hearing great updates from you. All the best, and may you fall into your season of opportunity and greatness. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye-bye.
But this world, as big as it is, one person can be the tipping scale to really create a domino effect that no one ever seen coming. I would like to remind people, there's going to be a lot of people that's going to judge you and tell